Hi, welcome, and we're happy to have you on day 3 of week 11 in the Bible in a Year Live Chronological Project podcast. Today's reader will be Byron, and he will be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 3 and chapter 4. This week, we continue to read from the Christian Standard Bible, and you can make your notes, and then you can join us live on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Daylight Saving Time on Zoom, where we'll discuss all the things we've read this week. You can find the details to join that meeting in the description, or you can find it on our website at Byl.Project.com. But for now, let us dive into today's reading.
Deuteronomy chapter 3. Next we turned and went up the road to Bashan. King Og of Bashan came out against us with his whole army to do battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to me, "Do not fear him, for I have handed him over to you along with his whole army and his land. Do to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites who lived in Heshbon." So the Lord our God also handed over King Og of Bashan and his whole army to us, who struck him until there was no survivor left. And at that time we captured all his cities. There wasn't a city that we didn't take from them. 60 cities, the entire region of Argob, the kingdom of Og in Bashan. All these were fortified cities with high walls, gates, and bars, besides a large number of rural villages. We completely destroyed them, as we did Sihon king of Heshbon, completely destroying every city, men, women, and children. But we plundered all the livestock and the spoil from the cities for ourselves. At this time, we took the land from the 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan, from the Arnon Valley as far as Mount Hermon. The Sidonians call it Hermon Sirion, but the Amorites call it Sinir. We took all the cities of the plateau, all Gilead, and all of Bashan, as far as Selka and Edrei, cities of Og's kingdom in Bashan. Only King Og of Bashan was left of the remnant of Rephaim. His bed was made of iron. Isn't it in Rabbah of the Ammonites? It is 13.5 feet long and 6 feet wide by a standard measure. At that time we took possession of this land. I gave to the Reubenites and Gadites the area extending from Aurora to the Arnon Valley, and half the hill country of Gilead along with its cities. I gave to the half-tribe of Manasseh the rest of Gilead and all of Bashan, the kingdom of Og. The entire region of Argob, the whole territory of Bashan, used to be called the land of the Rephaim. Jair, a descendant of Manasseh, took over the entire region of Argob as far as the border of the Geshurites and Maccathites. He also called Bashan by his own name, Jair's villages, as it is today. I also gave Gilead to Machir. And to the Reubenites and Gadites I gave the territory from Gilead to the Arnon Valley. The middle of the valley is the border, and up to the Jabbok River, the border of the Amorites, along with Arabah and the Jordan as a border, from the Sea of Kinnereth as far as the Sea of Arabah, the Dead Sea, below the slopes of Pisgah. I commanded you at that time, "The Lord your God has given you this land to possess. All your valiant men will cross over in battle formation ahead of your brothers, the Israelites. But your wives, dependents, and livestock, I know you have a lot of livestock, will remain in the cities I have given you, until the Lord gives rest to your brothers as he has to you, and they also take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving them across the Jordan. Then each of you may return to his possession I have given you." At that time I commanded Joshua, "Your own eyes have seen everything the Lord your God has done to these 2 kings. The Lord will come to do the same to all the kingdoms you are about to enter. Do not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God fights for you." At that time I begged the Lord, "Lord God, you have begun to show your greatness and your strong hand to the servants. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can perform deeds and mighty acts like yours? Please let me cross over and see the good land on the other side of the Jordan, that good hill country and Lebanon." But the Lord God was angry with me on your account and would not listen to me. "That's enough," the Lord said to me. "Don't speak to me again about this matter. Go to the summit of Pisgah and raise your eyes to the west, north, south, and east, and look carefully, for you will not cross this Jordan. But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will cross over ahead of this people, and he will enable them to inherit the land you will see." So we stayed in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Chapter 4. Now Israel, listen to the statutes and ordinances I'm teaching you to follow, so that you may live, enter, and take possession of the land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, is giving you. You must not add anything to what I command you or take anything away from it, so that you may keep the commands of the Lord your God I am giving you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did at Byayl.Peor, for the Lord your God destroyed everyone who followed Byayl.Peor. But you who have remained faithful to the Lord your God are all alive today. Look, I have taught you statutes and ordinances that the Lord my God has commanded me, so that you may follow them in the land you are entering to possess. Carefully follow them, for this will show your wisdom and understanding in the eyes of the peoples. When they hear about all these statutes, they'll say, "This great nation is indeed a wise and understanding people." And what great nation has statutes and ordinances as righteous as this entire law that I set before you today? Only be on your guard and diligently watch yourselves, so that you don't forget the things your eyes have seen, and so that they don't slip from your mind as long as you live. Teach them to your children and your grandchildren. The day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, the Lord said to me, "Assemble the people before me, and I will let them hear my words, so that they may learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and may instruct their children." You came near and sat at the base of the mountain, a mountain blazing with fire into the heavens and enveloped in a totally black cloud. Then the Lord spoke to you from the fire. You heard the sound of the words, but saw no form. There was only a voice. He declared to you his covenant, the 10 Commandments, which he commanded you to follow, and he wrote them on 2 stone tablets. The Lord commanded me at that time to teach you the statutes and ordinances for you to follow in the land you are about to cross into and possess. Since he saw no form on the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the fire, be carefully on your guard so that you do not act corruptly and make an idol for yourselves in the shape of any figure, male or female, any animal on the earth, any bird that flies in the sky, any creature that crawls on the ground, or any fish in the sea. And when you look up into the sky and see the sun, moon, and stars, all the heavenly array, do not be led astray to bow in worship to them and serve them. These are the things the Lord your God has allotted to all the peoples under the entire heaven. But the Lord has taken you and brought you out of Egypt, the iron furnace, to be his own people, his special possession, as you are today. The Lord was angry with me because of you, and he swore that I would not cross the Jordan and enter the good land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. I will die in this land. I will not cross the Jordan, but you are about to cross over and take possession of that good land. Be careful not to forget the covenant of the Lord your God he has made with you, and make an idol for yourselves in the shape of anything he has forbidden. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you have children and grandchildren and have been in the land a long time, and if you act corruptly and make an idol in the form of anything and do what is evil in the sight of the Lord your God, angering him, I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you today, that you will quickly perish from the land you are about to cross the Jordan to possess. You will not live long there, but you will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be reduced to a few survivors among the nations where the Lord your God will drive you out. There you will worship man-made gods of wood and stone, which cannot see or hear or eat or smell. But if you seek the Lord your God from there, you'll find him. If you seek him with all your heart and all your soul, when you're in distress and all these things have happened to you, in the later days you will return to the Lord your God and obey him. For the Lord your God is a compassionate God. He'll not fail you or destroy you or forget the covenant with your ancestors that he swore to them. Now ask about the earlier days long before your time, from the day God created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other. Has anything as great as this ever happened? Or has anything like this ever been heard of? Has any people ever heard the voice of God speaking from fire as you have and lived? Or has any God ever attempted to go and take a nation as his own out of another nation by trials, signs, wonders, war, a strong hand, and an outstretched arm? Or by great and awesome acts as the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your very eyes? You were shown these things so that you might know that the Lord is God. There is no other besides him. From the heavens he made you hear his voice to discipline you, and on earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words from the fire. Because he loved your ancestors, he chose their descendants after them and brought you out of Egypt by his presence with his great power, to drive out before you nations greater and stronger than you, and bring you in and give you their land as inheritance as it is today. Know today and take to heart that the Lord is God in heaven above and on earth below. There is no other. Keep his statutes and commands which I am giving you today, so that you and your children after you may prosper, and so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you for all this time. Then Moses set apart 3 cities east of the Jordan where a person could flee if he had killed someone unintentionally and without malice. he could flee to one of these cities and save his life. The cities were Bezer in the wilderness plateau for the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Manassites. This is the law that Moses presented to the Israelites. These are the stipulations, statutes, and ordinances that Moses spoke to the Israelites when they came out of Egypt and were in the valley near Beth Peor, east of the Jordan in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon and whom Moses and the Israelites defeated when they came out of Egypt. They took possession of this land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, the two Amorite kings who were east of the Jordan. This land extended from Aurora on the rim of the Arnon Valley as far as Mount Hermon. It included all the Arabah east of the Jordan as far as the Sea of the Arabah below the slopes of Pisgah,